You've probably seen at least one of his highlights this season and aware of his NBA lineage. But who precisely is Gary Payton II? Here are 10 things that you might not have known about the Wizards' famous player. Number 10. His college career. As a freshman, Gary Payton II spent 2 seasons at Salt Lake Community College, helping the team capture the Region 18 championship and the SWAC championship in 2013. Payton II was named second-team NJCAA Division I All-American as a sophomore and was named Co-Player of the Year and Tournament Most Valuable Player for the 2014 Region 18 tournament. He averaged 14.1 points, 7.9 rebounds, 3.8 assists, and 1.9 steals per game as a sophomore. He did, however, transfer to his father's alma mater, Oregon State, after his second season. Payton II became the second Beaver to earn a triple-double in a game when he scored 10 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists against Grambling State. He, like his famous father, established a reputation for being a fierce defender. Payton was chosen to the All-Pac-12 First Team, All-Pac-12 Defensive Team, and Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year in 2015. Payton II decided to join the 2016 NBA Draft after 2 seasons at Oregon State. Number 9. Gary Payton II growing up on his father's shadow. Obviously, Payton's defensive qualities were going to be evaluated and spotlighted in the future. In an age of defense-heavy basketball, his father, Gary Payton, did not earn the nickname the Glove without reason. When Payton was younger, he despised the father-son comparison because it made him feel inferior. I think a lot of kids in my situation are compared to their fathers or mothers because of who they are or have been. According to basketballnews.com, the 28-year-old said, "I think it's only normal. It's simply going to happen. You'll most likely be compared at some point in your life. I didn't know how to deal with it when I was younger, but as I become older and wiser, I learned that he had his way and I had mine. And don't worry about what people would attempt to compare you to, since we have 2 distinct paths in 2 different times. As a result, I've given up on it for a while." Number 8. He draws strength and athleticism from his mother, Monique. His mother's everyday support, says Payton II, has been vital in his fight to stay in the NBA. She also inspires him to put his heart and soul into becoming an NBA player, he said. Payton II remarked, "She's just so proud every day. Every day she texts me to tell me how pleased she is of me. And, most importantly, for not giving up and not quitting. To get where I am now, I went the hard way. She's just thrilled and glad that I didn't give up. That's arguably the most important aspect of it all. It's everything about her," says Payton II. "The only thing I have to live without is her. That's the simplest way I can describe it. It's fine if she has whatever she wants or needs. That's what she was able to get her hands on. She's been putting in the effort over the years, as well as the love and concern. I'm hoping to be able to return all of that to her as soon as possible." Number 7. Gary Payton II transformed his "you can't shoot" tag to "lights out buckets." You can't shoot. Warriors guard Gary Payton II has been told many times throughout his basketball career. However, as he spots up near the perimeter in recent months, he's observed that defenders have been paying more and more attention to him. Payton was able to demonstrate that he is beginning to be valued for something other than his athleticism, intensity, and defense. He has shot 63.6% from the field and 38% from three-point range in his breakthrough season with the Warriors, which is already more than halfway through. The volume, on the other hand, is more important than the efficiency. Payton attempted 86 three-pointers in his first 5 NBA seasons. He now has 79 points in just 46 games this season. This demonstrates the Warriors' faith in Payton's ability to make a jump shot. The Bucks, Lakers, and Wizards tried to mold him into a classic point guard during his time with the Bucks, Lakers, and Wizards. Payton has shifted away from the ball, curling off screens as he trusts the likes of Draymond Green, Stephen Curry, and Jordan Poole as he works with the Warriors. Number 6. Gary Payton II's Warriors 2021-22 successes applauded by Shaq. After an incredible dunk over Nets star James Harden during halftime of the Warriors game against the Brooklyn Nets at Barclays Center, NBA on TNT commentator and Hall of Famer Shaquille O'Neal praised the Warriors' rising star after an impressive slam over the Nets star. After bouncing around between the Milwaukee Bucks, Los Angeles Lakers, and Washington Wizards for the first 4 years of his career before joining Golden State last season, the 28-year-old Payton has settled in nicely to his role off the bench for the Warriors. Shaq found the Oregon State product's path to success to be everything but smooth, despite the fact that he went undrafted in 2016. "I want to deliver the lesson to the students that they should never give up," Shaq concluded. "This is what you become if you never give up and believe in yourself and your passion." We all know who the father is and how he was raised, and I know his mother as well. But listen, the guy's played hard, he plays well, and he never gave up. There are a lot of guys who say, "Hey, I'm not going to make it, and I'll just do whatever." But this kid never gave up, and he's finally getting his chance. We all know who. Number 5. Payton II never felt safe, even with the Warriors set to guaranteed deal. Payton used his athleticism and abilities on both ends of the floor to climb into Coach Steve Kerr's talented rotation after being signed to a partially guaranteed contract by the Warriors in October to fill the team's final roster space. Payton didn't let himself become too comfortable as his role grew, including starting in the past 7 games for Golden State. Even as the deadline to sign players with partially guaranteed contracts for the rest of the season approached on January 10th, he continued to play well. However, after reporters alerted Payton of Kerr's statement before the Warriors' 101-96 loss to the New Orleans Pelicans, he was assured that he will be playing for the Warriors for the balance of the NBA season in 2021-22. Payton smiled as he continued. "There was never a time when I felt safe. I'm not sure if I still do, but I'm sure Coach Kerr meant what he said because he said it." Number 4. Gary Payton II hopes to continue father's Bay Area legacy with Warriors. Gary Payton II has spent his summers in East Bay with his family since he was a child. He still spends weeks in Oakland during the off-season, meeting up with relatives and working out in the same gyms where his father used to spit on opponents. That's what makes this 10-day contract so meaningful for him. He has a chance to carve out a long-term niche in a place that already seems like home after a half a decade of transience. Number 3. Gary Payton II gets major surprise from dad during live interview. Gary Payton Jr. recently spoke with NBA TV's crew on the Dubs' recent success. When his father, Hall of Fame point guard Gary Payton, broke in on the conversation to surprise his son, the 28-year-old was smack in the center of it. He offered nothing but admiration for his son's present work with the Warriors from Gary Sr. Gary II isn't a superstar, but he's already had a big influence for the Golden State Warriors in what has been a great start to the season in 2021-22. Number 2. Gary Payton shares stories of dyslexia to help children. Prior to that game against Detroit last January 18th, when Payton rushed out to greet children who have dyslexia with handshakes, poses for selfies, or provide some encouraging words, the youngsters went crazy. With the help of his grassroots organization, Decoding Dyslexia California, Payton assisted in hosting the group. The parents of these children were extremely appreciative. They're also hopeful that Payton's involvement will raise much-needed awareness for the importance of continuing to improve early intervention and universal screening for those who are struggling with comparable issues. Number 1. Gary Payton II is a man of the people. In order to capture the customary, enjoyable in-game moments and banter amongst players, NBA TV chose to have Warriors guard Gary Payton II mic'd up for their coverage between Golden State and the Pacers. As a result, viewers were given an example of Payton II just being a nice man, which was also really good. Payton II accidentally knocked over a fan's drink during a game in Indianapolis when he leaned back around the stationary bikes. He immediately understood what had happened, apologized, inquired to what the fan was drinking, and attempted to get the drink replaced. That's some true fan-player engagement right there. Later, Payton II stopped by to check on the fan and make sure everything was in order. Payton, the son of Hall of Famer in the NBA, realized early on that he didn't have his father's natural offensive ability. However, his performance proved that he can score in methods other than getting above the rim as he normally does. What are your thoughts on this rising NBA star? Let us know what you think in the comments.